The engines on the Ffarquhar Branch Line have been working very hard lately. They travel back and forth delivering goods and passengers from place to place. And it wasn't too long before they became rushed off their wheels. One evening, Thomas returned to Tim's sheds rather tired. "Another busy day done," he said. "So much work and so much effort." "I know," agreed Percy. "We do so much of that we never knew whether we're coming or going." "Well, at least you're not on the main line," huffed Gordon. "You barely have enough time to rest there." "What you need is a 2-day beauty sleep," put in James. Now, you two," said Edward sternly. "All they actually might need is some help." "Edward is right," said a familiar voice. It was a fat controller. "Jamish and Percy, I can see how exhausted you two are on your branch line lately," he said. "Sure, I've arranged for Dennis to come and help and ease up your workload. That is all." And he left. Thomas frowned. Of course it had to be Dennis, he muttered. "What's wrong with that?" Percy asked. "Dennis is nothing but lazy," Thomas replied. "He'll create almost any excuse to get out of doing his work. Remember what happened when he first arrived?" "I'm sure he might have learned his lesson," reassured Percy. "I very much doubt it," huffed Thomas. "I just know he'll never learn." Percy decided it best not to argue and go to sleep instead. The next morning when he arrived, Percy found Dennis looking rather miserable. "What's the matter, Dennis?" he asked. "I got a problem with my cooling system," Dennis groaned. "And to make matters worse, I've got to take a stone train from the quarry." "Tell you what," smiled Percy, "I've got a mail train to take. But if you're still not feeling well when I come back, then I'll take your stone train." "Thanks, Percy," said Dennis. Percy puffed away while Dennis's driver telephoned for an engine inspector. He arrived a short while later and checked Dennis over for about 10 minutes. "We can't do anything with this pile of garbage," grumbled the inspector. "Well, what do you think we ought to do? Scrap him?" asked Dennis's driver. "You know the Fat Control would never do that," replied the inspector. "Your engine here is being lazy, and he needs to learn a lesson." He then left without another word. A few minutes later, Percy returned. "Still not feeling well, Dennis?" he asked. "Yes," replied Dennis. "My driver tried hard, but he just couldn't turn me on." "Like I said," said Percy, "I'll take your stone train. I don't have any other jobs to do at the moment." "Thanks again, Percy," grinned Dennis. As Percy puffed off, Dennis closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep. But little did he know that Toby had seen everything. "I'll have to report this to the Fat Controller," he wheezed. And Toby steamed off to do so. Percy chuffed cheerfully up to the quarry. When he arrived there, Mavis was surprised to see him. "What are you doing here, Percy?" she asked. "I thought Dennis was collecting these." "He said he has a problem with his cooling system," replied Percy, "so I'm taking this train for him. And by the way, where are Spider and Dodge?" "They're taking another stone train," said Mavis, "and they should be back by now." Ugh. "I should have been the engine up front. You're going too slow, Splatter." "Yeah, well you're holding me back, Dodge." "Am not. R2. Am not. R2. Am not. R2.
That's it. We've heard enough of your arguments. Guess that I shut you up.
Stop the Dodge! I'm trying, Splatter! I'm trying!
On! Faster! Faster!
This was your fault, Dodge! It was your Splatter! No, it wasn't! Yes, it was!
Grief! Will you two stop arguing and look at this mess? You're blocking the line.
Oh. Well, it's still your fault, Dodge! Was not! Was too! Was not!
Oh, you two can't compose yourselves these days, do you?
Anyways, you better be careful with these trucks, warned Mavis. They've been nothing but trouble all morning. "I will," said Percy, and he puffed away. The trucks were annoyed.
We can't play tricks on Dennis, so we'll play a trick on Percy instead. One engine is as good as another.
But Percy didn't hear them. As they approached the slope, their trip began.
Oi!
The truck shouted, surging Percy forward. Help! Cried Percy. His driver braked hard, but it was too late. Bust my buffers! Gasped Percy. Soon he was back on the rails when the fat controller arrived. I'm sorry, sir, sighed Percy. I just don't know what happened. I'm fully aware that you're not at fault for this accident, Percy, said the fat controller, because I know the real culprit behind all this. He then turned and pointed sharply at Dennis. I assigned you here to help on this branch line, the fat controller thundered. Not lazy about like you always do. Not only did you let Percy do your job, but you also caused many delays and disruptions on this branch line. As punishment, you'll be doing Percy's goods runs and mail runs until he's repaired. Do I make myself clear? Yes, sir. Sorry, sir, said Dennis sheepishly. So over the next 2 days, Dennis did exactly what he was told to do. When Percy did return, Dennis immediately went back to the shunting yards. Thomas was glad Dennis was punished, and Percy still hoped that Dennis will one day learn his lesson.